Okay, so hopefully you've seen my overview of the CCI Phantom Pump Paintball Marker. Now I'm going to talk specifically about this one. This one is mine. This is my baby. If there's one marker I had to use for the rest of my paintball career, this would be it. This is my favorite marker of all time, unequivocally. I even like it more than the Model 98 I've discussed in the past, even though I've had that one for longer. So let me take you through this. First, the barrel is a 10-inch Deadly Wind fiber barrel. It uses freak inserts, so you can bore match your paint for efficiency and to prevent rollouts. It has quite a bit of porting, so it's nice and quiet. And it's carbon fiber, so it's extremely light and extremely strong. I really like, especially the durability part of it, because my old barrel was an 11-inch CCI barrel that had been bored for freak inserts. Performed great, but I really dinged that thing up. It was aluminum, and by the time I got rid of it, it had scratches and the muzzle was all dinged up. The carbon fiber is much more durable, and through some really rough play, it still looks like I just took it out of the package, so that's really nice. The undercocking kit, I use a Rain Man undercocking kit, and as I mentioned, it has a dedicated guide rod, and that's really important because that helps smooth out the usually very rough Phantom pump stroke. This kit is really nice, and my favorite feature of this kit, aside from the guide rod, is that it's compatible with CCM pump handles, which I find really comfortable, and they look really nice. So I really like that. I run this marker vertical air. I run it almost exclusively with the 133K, a 13 cubic inch, 3000 PSI air tank vertically. It goes quite a bit lower than, the grip frame, but it's not so large that it's obtrusive. I find that a 22 cubic inch is just so long it just gets in the way. But a 13 is in that just right zone, size-wise. I have the Pachmayr Vindicator grips on here, which are these really cool looking and extremely comfortable grips. I use the Mongo stock class feed because one, it's all aluminum, so it's more durable than the standard plastic block, and it's got the ball slots all the way through so I can see how many paintballs I have left. And then here's kind of a really unique feature of this marker is I'm using a side tapped valve, which is pretty standard for CCI Phantom. Instead of running it either directly to the vertical ASA or to a bottom line ASA, though, I have this regulator on the side. Now this is a female stabilizer from Palmer's Pursuit Shop. And what that means is it actually has ASA threads right here. You could screw a tank directly into it. I'm actually using it in a way you would normally use what's called the sideline stabilizer, which instead of having ASA threads here, would have normal NTP threads, so you just put a macro fitting right in there. And in fact, I have an inline stabilizer on the way, so probably by next week this will be gone. I'll have the more appropriate regulator here, but for all intents and purposes, it's the same thing. What this allows me to do is regulate the pressure of the air going into my valve very precisely to about 450 psi. And it allows me to do this without having to have a vertical regulator or a regulator down here as if I'm running Hawaiian style. And for a little while I did actually have it under my grip. But putting it on the side is a much more compact package and allows me to run the vertical air tank with the regulator. Another alternative to that is something really cool that PPS makes, and that's a stabilizer phantom valve. That's a phantom valve body with an integrated stabilizer regulator. So you don't need to have a regulator mounted on the side. The problem is that it sticks way back off the back of the marker body, to the point where if you go to aim, you end up, or at least I do, I end up dinging myself in the face with the regulator. So that's why I'm going this route, which is maybe a little more roundabout, but works well for me. As I mentioned in the previous video, the body is your standard CCI vertical stock class body. The only difference is that it has that detent mod that prevents double feeds and rollouts. Really the only piece on this marker, I think in fact the only part of this that is the same that it is when I got this marker, and I got this marker in 2006, the only part of it that's the same is the trigger group in here. The frame is different, the air setup's different, valve body, barrel, pump, feed tube, everything's different except for the trigger group and the valve internals, actually. Everything else is new, or everything else is to some degree aftermarket. So this is a highly customized CCI Phantom and an excellent performer. I can't give you numbers as far as efficiency on 12 grams because I don't use 12 grams anymore, but when I did, in a very different configuration, this was getting 35 to 40 good shots. But again, that was a very different configuration, may not be applicable now. That's the quick and dirty overview of my CCI Phantom. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more videos.